Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting Business Building Brand Vlog. This one, big number 342. So wow, it's really been quite the week. Even though we had off Monday, right? I actually made a point to take the day off. It's been like, okay, the universe is like, oh, you think you're getting out of not having a Monday? No, sir. And so yesterday, which was Tuesday, it all started when I get to work, I put on my camera, and I go to press play, and guess what? My camera's broken, right? I had to go out real quick and buy another camera. So that threw me all out of whack, and then the rest of the day didn't get any better, and today, my God, another day of awesomeness. But that doesn't stop me from bringing what I hope is going to be a little teeny weeny bit of value to you and your entrepreneurial journey. And that is what it is all about at Tiege Hanley. If you have a business question, down below, start it with business question and ask it. This week there is one that I really want to talk about. But before I do that, I want to tell you why Tiege Hanley has the best customer service in the universe. So have you guys heard of the Net Promoter Score? Probably not, because most people haven't, but I'm going to read so I don't butcher the explanation. The Net Promoter Score, NPS, is the world's leading metric for measuring customer loyalty. It's based on a simple question. How likely is it that you would recommend the product or service to a friend or colleague? And basically the way that it works is I'm gonna keep reading because I'm gonna butcher this because it's a little confusing. I'm gonna break it down at the end. We measure this question with reviews, as in a 1-star review to a 5-star review. The formula compares the combined lowest scores, 1 to 3-star reviews, versus the best score, 5-star reviews only. A 4-star review actually counts towards the total number of reviews, but it does not increase the score. In fact, it does the opposite. Any review of 1 to 4 stars lowers the Net Promoter Score. A 5-star review is the only thing that increases the NPS or Net Promoter Score. So basically, if you don't get a 5, you're effed, right? Well, NPS scores vary by industry, but the medium score is a 44. A very good score is a 72, right? Now think of this as kind of like 100, like you're taking a test in high school. A 72% is considered very good. Now, anything above an 80 is considered world class from SurveyMonkey. SurveyMonkey is the one that really does, the analysis of the NPS or Net Promoter Score. Well, here's the deal. Tiege Hanley, as of last Friday, hit 90% for the first time. What does this mean? This means that we have incredible customer service and we're better than world class. Is it by accident? No. Why? How did we do it? Was it by accident? The answer is no. We have gone like balls deep when it comes to really making sure that our customer experience is world class, second to none. It has been head up and led by Tom B at Tiege Hanley. Kelly gave him the job. He said, listen, we need to get that Net Promoter Score above an 80%, actually 90%. And when we do, you're gonna get a steak dinner. He gave Tom a job. Tom B was the man that has been sort of heading up customer service. And we have an incredible customer service team. It's not just Tom. Tom has been overseeing it, but our customer service team at Tiege Hanley goes above and beyond, making sure that we do our absolute best to handle any issue that you guys have when you contact us, whether or not it's handling returns, handling missed orders, handling pissed off customers because our PM moisturizer smelled like fish. For you guys out there that remember the fishy PM moisturizer, you've been following us for a while. So quick little sidebar. Years ago, we got a batch of PM moisturizer. People were using it and we started getting complaints. Dudes were like, yo, I feel like my PM moisturizer smells a little bit fishy. We're like, fishy moisturizer, what? And so we actually figured it out that we got a funky batch of marine collagen, which is in our PM moisturizer. It wasn't bad, but it had a bit of an odor. And so that was our first lesson in, we got a lot of inventory of this bad product. What do you do? How do you handle it? How do you address it with customer service? Long story short, I'm not going to spend much more time, but I just want to, actually, customer service is part of the thing and the topic that I want to talk about, which is how do you handle an effed up economy if you're in business and everything seems to be going crazy in terms of inflation, in terms of ad spends are getting crazy, in terms of marketing isn't as effective as it used to be. One of the things and core components that you should focus on is your customer service. I was not, me personally, Aaron, I was not the customer service king. When I first started my businesses, right, my mom is actually who handles customer service for, it used to be IamAlphaM.com. She now works for Enemy, but she was always the person that would tell me, you got to take care of your customers. You got to take care of your customers. And I was always of the mindset like, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, they're pissed off. It doesn't matter. Come to realize over the course of the past few years that customer service is one of the core principles and foundational aspects to your business being successful. If you don't treat your customers amazing, if you don't have an incredible customer service experience, you are not going to have loyal customers. In the age of reviews where everybody is talking and everybody wants to let you know, like Amazon is really the reason why this I think got so big, not to mention social media, because social media also, you know, we have the ability to tell all of our friends, right? Everybody, every, you know, Tom, Dick, and Harry has 20 people that they're friends with on social media, or they've got an Instagram following, or they've got Facebook friends, right? And what happens is a lot of times when we have a good customer experience, we don't tell anybody. But when it's bad, we want to shout it from the rooftops to make sure that our friends and family and people that we know don't get effed over by this specific company. Well, Tiege Hanley, we have made it a point and a priority to make sure that our customer service was next level. And you heard the data. 80 is considered world class. We hit 90. So on behalf of the entire Tiege Hanley team, I would like to give a huge knuckle bump to Tom B and all of the Tiege Hanley reps and people working behind the scenes, not getting a bunch of pats on the back all the time. It's not super sexy. They're not the ones getting a bunch of thumbs up on videos. They're not the ones seeing the ROI on ad spend. They're the ones that are in the trenches handling our most valuable asset at Tiege Hanley, which is you, the customer. It always boils down to the customer. Gentlemen, the sooner you learn that, the better off you're gonna be. Because without your customers and without them being loyal, you are effed. The only real business question this week, remember, if you've got one, guys, down below, start with business question, ask your question. Each week we try to get to a few of them. It's from Rick DiStefano. He says, business question, has inflation changed the way you think about your cash in the bank? Have you changed the way you handle or think about your liquid funds, fearing that the purchasing power could decline quickly over time? So, and this is kind of what I want to talk about. Because we are facing a recession, right? No matter how many people want to stick their head in the sand and be like, no, we're okay. We're dealing with something here. You know, credit card debt is super high. People have less money in the bank, and there's, I think, some fear. You know, I think with COVID, when you know everything kind of got like artificially inflated. People were like, whatever. I've just been locked up in my house for 2 years. I don't care. You know, property values skyrocketed. Everything like just went crazy. And people were willing to spend money. But now people are like, wait a second, hold up, wait, hold up, right? We are going to see things kind of get a little bit weird and uncomfortable, in my opinion, for the next foreseeable months, year maybe? I'm not sure. How do you handle it as a business? How do you handle it as an investor? How do you handle it as Tiege Hanley, Pete Major, however? And so this is kind of something that I just want to kind of think about, because when situations like this arise, right? Just for you guys that aren't in business yet or haven't experienced this, the whole supply chain thing, you hear about it, but it's real. It's a big issue. Not only is the supply chain in terms of how to get or how long it's going to take in order to get certain things, the price of everything has jumped. Everything from raw materials to shipping to packaging, everything has gotten more expensive. And not just by like a percent, like it's like depending on the industry, depending on what we're talking about, it's substantial. What do? Well, what most companies are going to have to do or be forced to do is raise the prices a little bit. We talked about that and did that a few months ago at Tiege Hanley. There's no getting around the fact that the profit margin is shrinking. And something that I just kind of thought about the other day, what would happen if you're a fast growth business, right? You're not really worried so much about the bottom line or the profitability of those transactions. You're worried just about growth. So you raised a bunch of money, you got all this money, and you're just spending, right? But you're not worrying about that bottom line. What happens if your price or your cost of goods goes up 20%? What do you do? Well, shit, right? If you don't have the extra cash to absorb that, you've got to A, raise the cost to or the price to your customers, but you literally could be out of business like that. If you don't have a cash reserve, you could literally be out of business like that, which is why, and really to tie it kind of together, why I am so conservative oftentimes. Because there aren't, when you're running super thin in terms of your margin, or some of these fast growth businesses, they're not making money. They're going to have to either raise more money, give away more of their business, or they're just going to have to, honestly, I think what you are going to see in the next 2 years, a lot of these businesses that did not worry about their bottom line and their profit margin, I think you're going to see a lot of them go out of business because it's unsustainable. You cannot sustain losing money for a long time, right? Or else, what do? You're going to have to start cutting costs. You're going to have to start laying people off. You're going to have to start reducing the amount that you're spending on advertising. But if you do that, then you're not going to be acquiring customers. It is critical. And the thing that you can do in your business looking forward is remember to pay attention to that bottom line, that profit margin. How much are you actually making per customer? It's not good enough just to acquire them if you can't basically dial it back and figure out how much money you're going to be sticking in your pocket, because it's that money in your pocket that is going to not only allow you to weather the financial storm that we're about to endure, it's also going to give you the ability to seize on opportunities. When the real estate market, boom, right? It collapsed back in 2000, when was it, 8? People that had cash had the ability to get incredible deals on stuff, whether or not it was real estate, whether or not it was whatever. We are going to be in a situation like that in the future, I personally feel. And so for me, I am very conservative, right? I am always worried about that bottom line. I am always worried about how much money I'm sticking in my pocket, not just that top line. Companies that are just solely focused on that top line number are going to be in a very, very uncomfortable position. Now, hopefully, they can get loans, but what happens, right? They get a loan for, say, $100,000, $1 million. Interest rates have gone up, so now it's more expensive to borrow money. So once again, profit margin is shrinking. And so for me, I am looking at kind of like getting my footing, right? Just holding tight. And one of the other reasons why I started thinking about this the other day was a friend of mine I haven't talked to in a while. He's also an entrepreneur. And he called me. He's like, "Hey, man, what are you working on? What's the big thing?" I said, "The big thing for me right now is just status quo, if I'm being honest. It's not worrying and thinking about growing 20%, 30%, 40%, which was something and a luxury we were afforded a few years ago. Well, actually, COVID hit, and then it was depending on the industry, some industries went boom. The grooming industry happened to go up, right? So we got a false sense of security that, hey, things are good. Well, now that things are starting to kind of, be a little bit tighter, what's going to happen? I think a lot of people don't know. It's hard to get things. Are people still going to be spending the money on consumable products like grooming products? I think that is something that people are going to do. I don't think it's going to be hit as hard if there is something severe in terms of a recession as, say, the automobile industry or apparel. Are people going to necessarily want to buy a new pair of expensive jeans? I don't know. Are they still wanting to look good because now they're going out because of COVID, and so they'll spend, $20 for a hair product or $25 for a skincare system so that they feel good and they're doing that little thing every day that makes them feel good about themselves, that helps them just with their confidence? I think they probably will. But depending on your industry, I don't know. I don't know if that is going to happen. And truth be told, I haven't seen it shake out yet, so I could be totally wrong. They may be like, yo, I'm going to let my hair get all crazy and my skin, I don't care if I get old and wrinkles. Doesn't matter to me because I'm going to save $25. Where are they going to tighten up their belt? That's the question. And so for me, it's about just kind of doing the things that aren't sexy right now. And that is what I'm going to be using the time that we are facing right now to kind of tighten up the ship. Customer service, that is something that you can worry about. That is something you can focus on. Advertising, you guys have all heard about the Facebook issue with people being able to track and spending getting crazy. That's not fixed. So acquiring customers has gotten more expensive. It's going to get more expensive. And people haven't figured out, basically that mechanism yet in order to make it not scary. And when you are faced with a potential recession, or not a recession, which is going on right now, what are you going to do as a business? How are you going to handle it? For me, I am going to try to tighten everything up. I'm going to try to get more efficient. I am going to try to fix some of the little things that are going to incrementally move the needle when combined all together, right? Tiege Hanley has done an incredible job. We've tightened up our funnel, right? When a customer comes in, what is that message? What is that funnel? What is the protocol? And what is the sequence of events that happens once they come into the system? Because if you are just trying to arbitrarily fill the top of that funnel up and you're spending a lot of money, if you're not being efficient and you're not optimizing what happens next or treating them with great customer service and giving them great products, what happens? They just churn out. It's going to get more expensive to fill that funnel up. And so right now, what I'm working on is tightening up all of my processes, tightening up all of my advertising, tightening up all of my funnels. Now, the individual thing isn't necessarily, you're not going to see an incremental increase in your top line, but over time, by doing these small little unsexy things, it's going to eventually raise the ship. And so for this year, I think, now Tiege Hanley, we are growing. We are doing a good job. And I think the reason is because we now are doing things that we never did before. We have tightened up those funnels. We have things that we have never tried before that are really doing a great job. And our customer service is keeping people. So Tiege Hanley is doing really well. We're actually in a growth mode despite sort of things not being super great in terms of the economy. Pete and Pedro, the .com is down, but my Amazon is up 150%. And so trying to tool around and figure out how to systemize, how to streamline, how to get everything kind of on solid footing so that when things do pick up and things are in a better position and people have more money, or I should say are more willing to spend it, you're in a better position. And that's kind of, I guess, where I want to kind of wrap this up. I think oftentimes in the world of internet businesses, we get led astray by false prophets. If you're not hitting a double, if you're not tripling your business, if you're not doing $10, $100 million a year, you're not successful. You're not winning, right? You were a failure this year. What I've come to realize is that it's not about always hitting it out of the park. Sometimes you hit enough singles and you're going to move around the bases. You may not get that grand slam, and I don't know why I'm using a baseball analogy. I don't even watch baseball. Sometimes you're going to hit it out of the park. Great job. But sometimes when things are tough, when you're facing a really tough team, which we are facing a really tough economy, I feel coming up, it's better to just play it safe and hit those singles, get on base, and keep moving around the bases as opposed to swinging for the fences. And so for right now, that's what I'm focused on. It's not swinging for the fences. It's doing the little things that are going to move the needle and raise the ship long term. And so that's my vlog for the day. I don't know if you got any value from this, but I just wanted to kind of toss it out there because, like I said, I feel like we get into this mindset and we're in this environment, this hustle culture where, everybody's talking about these huge wins and big this and big moves that. And if you're not doing something big, you're not being successful. It's not the big sexy things. It's the small little things that move the needle for the long term. Fundamentals still work. It's not as sexy to talk about. It's not as easy to do. And it's not as, or I should say, it's not as fun to think about. But the fundamentals, doing the things that are fundamentally critical to you building a sound business over the long term that is sustainable, is one of the sexiest things that you can do. But it's not getting a lot of clicks on YouTube in terms of the title. It's not what people are watching, because people want it quick, they want it easy. There's nothing easy about this. And for you entrepreneurs that are about to get started, just understand that bottom line, that money that you are actually sticking in your pocket is sweet. It might not be as much as some of these people talk about making online, but I'm telling you, tighten up your belt, be responsible, be smart, do the grunt work, break the rocks now, because long term it's going to pay off, even if the economy goes sideways or down. Gentlemen, that's where I'm going to wrap things up. Remember, if you have a business question, ask it. Start it with business question down below. Each week, like I said, we try to get to a few of them, but the one thing we are definitely getting to at Tiege Hanley are customer service inquiries. I would like to thank each and every one of you for being a part of the system, being a part of our Net Promoter Score being world class. Not even first, I'm talking world class. And to the Tiege Hanley team that's in the trenches doing the unsexy things, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my and the entire Tiege Hanley heart. Guys, we love you more than our double monk strap shoes, and 90%, and it's only going up.